Hello, my name is Sonia Waters. Welcome, and I will be talking about invention strategies, ways to keep your paper moving in the right direction. The first question is what is an invention strategy? Invention strategies are basically used to get over what we all know as writer's block. Everyone has had writer's block at one point or another in their life. Now, writer's block can actually manifest itself in two ways. The first way is that you have no idea what you want to put down on your paper. Now, how many of you have experienced having a topic, it's time to write, and nothing comes to mind? Okay, Danielle has had that. Rachel, have you had that where you need to write? Okay, well, the second one is where you have all this information, but you don't know where to begin. Have you ever experienced that? Yes, we've all experienced that. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to, how do you begin this whole process of writing and the important steps, the strategies to take? Well, the first place that you want to begin is your topic. Now, the topic, you can either be selecting it for yourself or someone is going to select it for you. Now, we've already asked, would you rather have someone select it? Many of you would rather be able to select your own. But I have had many students that would rather have me select the topic for them. What are the benefits if you get to select your own topic, Danielle?
I'm more interested in it.
You're more interested in it? What about you, Rach?
Pretty much the same thing. I can get a lot more information because I'm more passionate about it.
You're more passionate about it? What about you, Craig?
I don't know, either way. I mean, if I had to pick a topic, I'd be worried that it'd be something that's not acceptable, or I don't know.
Okay, and that's usually, what most people say. One, you want to be interested in your topic. If you're not interested, you're not going to read about it, you're not going to do the due diligence that's needed in order for it to even be an interesting paper. And this is a question that I've asked students many times. If you're not interested in what you've written, what makes you think that I'm going to be interested in reading it? If you're interested in it, it's going to reflect in how you have written it. You want to find sufficient information. That is so you have so much that you can choose from that you're not saying the same thing over and over and over again in different ways. So finding that sufficient information, you're going to give some meat to your paper. It's going to be an educational experience, not just for you, but for also who is reading that paper. We talked a little bit about research. I cannot stress the importance of research. You want to learn more about your topic. Try to find many resources. Now, when we're doing research papers, and you will have one, it's about a 5 to 10 page research paper. Well, it's so important with your topic to find resources that say something different. They all bring something different to the table. If they're all saying the same things, then you may want to think about changing your topic because you're not going to have enough meat in order to make that page requirement, or that it's even going to be interesting for you. And it's going to become a very painful process for you. The more you learn, the more you will want to write about it. If you like your topic, you're learning more about it, you're going to find things that are more interesting for you. And I do spend some time on this because you don't want to get 2 weeks in or 3 weeks into a writing project and then you're like, I can't find anything, I don't like this, and now I've got to start from scratch. So you want to spend some time on your topic and your research. Now that you've completed the groundwork, and I call this my grunt work, once you've completed your groundwork, now it is time to write. Okay, so now let's write. Are you ready? You've already done your research. And you all looked at me like, what? You still have nothing to say. You've looked at me like you had deer in the headlights. Well, now it is time for us to talk about brainstorming. And these are those strategies that we were talking about in order to get that information together, get those ideas going in order for you to write a successful paper. We're going to talk about some strategies. In particular, we're going to talk about clustering, listing, free writing, and then the questions. The first one that we're going to talk about is clustering. Now, we just finished the novel unit, The Hobbit, and so I just selected, we had talked about it earlier, where we decided we're going to do something with the characters. And so what we did is we named off 3 of our main characters. Now, clustering is you're going to start having these little offshoots where you're going to start adding different information to it. Now, does not have to just stay here. You can actually offshoot from those. Keep those ideas going. With Bilbo, he was curious, had big feet, he was nimble. Gandalf, we said he was mysterious and crafty. He had magic. Dwarves, we said they were short, beards. Dragon, definitely with the dragon, we would probably offshoot from that because that is a very important part of the dwarf story. Usually you want to spend about 10 minutes in each one of these strategies because you just want to get those ideas going and see how far you've gone. The next one is listing. Now we chose cancer because you're getting ready to do a cancer project, correct? Listing, again, you just want to list everything down. Now the one thing that I would say about listing is do not prejudge what you put down. You can always go back and cross things off, but you do not want to stop. Once the ideas come, you want to keep writing them down. I like listing in particular just because it helps actually give me some subtopics that I need to look at. And underneath of each one of these subtopics, you probably have information that you need to add to it. So that I like that listing strategy. The next one is free writing. Free writing is you have your topic and then you just start writing. Again, do not prejudge the information that you're putting down. Typically this is like in paragraph form. Again, you want to give yourself about 10 minutes where it is a continual writing process where you are just getting each of those ideas. Again, just write. You can always take out later. Last one is questions, and I kind of went back to our cancer topic because to me this particular strategy could actually go hand in hand with the listing. Now we went together and just decided, what kind of questions would you have about cancer that you would want to know, perhaps maybe someone else would want to know. Now how this would go in with the listing is you could actually go under each one of those subtopics and ask the questions, what type of questions would I ask for each one of those subtopics. That could actually show you where you need to go with it, and it also could show you if you need to do some additional research in order to answer those questions. So now that you have all this information, you spent the time in clustering and listing and asking questions, now what do you do? Now you want to start looking for like ideas. Because a lot of those things, you actually may have some duplicate things. You do not just want to put it all in a paper. You want to look for like ideas. You want to see can you get a logical order with the information that you have. Remember that it has to make sense. If it's just like the example that I had used the other day, you're driving a car to the Walmart. Well, would you write it? I put my seatbelt on. I turned on the ignition. I got to the Walmart. I'm driving down the road. Does that make sense? No. Writing is the exact same way. It has to be logical. And so what you're looking for is a logical order to which you would write it. If we went back to the questions, you probably would want to start off with defining it, correct? And then from there you would take that logical progression. Do you see a common thread? You need to have a commonality, something that you are continually trying to answer. And this takes us to our thesis statement. What is a thesis statement?
Basically says what you're going to be about.
Correct. Your thesis statement is what your paper is going to be about. Now, many people will write their thesis statement the first thing out the block. But you do not have to. Once you've done your research, you see how you're grouping things, a lot of times you can come up with a thesis statement at that moment. But if you have come up with a thesis statement at the beginning, it can be fine-tuned throughout this process. Now that you have gotten all your information together, now you just need to get it into an outline. I like to do main idea outlines, or what we call key ideas or keyword outlines. So that way you are translating that information into your own words. But that is really going to come after you have gotten all of your information together, you group things in likenesses, you now have a common thread. What's next? Once you have your outline, you will be able to write your first draft. And what is a draft? Is it your final product? No, it is a draft. You will never come out of the gate writing the final product. You will have a first draft. Sometimes you may have a second draft. But what this is doing, it's getting all that information into your first draft of your paper so you can see how it looks. You're going to go through your editing process of reading it out loud, walking away, going to get a cup of coffee, come back, reading it again, and having someone else read it in order to make sure that your paper makes sense. Especially when you're reading it out loud, it's going to help you pick up awkward sentences and things of that nature. But this is that process to get that first draft, and once you have that first draft, you are home free and you are ready for a successful paper.